A bricklayer is a tradesman that works with stone, brick, and block to build and repair walls.
Well, a bricklayer really encompasses a lot of things, anywhere from restoring old historic buildings to building new construction with bricks and blocks. When you restore an old building, you might have to tear half the building down and then put it back up.
A mason is a person that lays brick, block, and stone. Works with hands a lot, does a lot of tooling, works with a level and hammer, and works really hard every day.
I went through apprenticeship New-Brunswick, and I started into the trade actually just laboring. And then I decided that I didn't want to labor anymore and I wanted to become a journeyman.
I trained in St. John for the trade, got my red seal in '94. And then I started working for small contractors. Finding work was not an issue.
I was a mason tender for 6 years, and you'd be setting up staging, stocking, mixing, and I've went to Block 1 this year, and it opened up a lot of opportunities.
After completing your 3 blocks as an apprentice and getting your qualification hours, you can challenge your red seal. And when you challenge your red seal, you need to get signed off by another journeyman, and that's when you become a journeyman bricklayer.
I competed in a provincial competition for bricklaying, and I won gold, and I got the opportunity to go to Vancouver and compete for nationals, and I got 4th in Canada. Well, I found it pretty easy finding work so far, and there's always availabilities there's multiple companies you can work for.
Finding work was actually very simple. I've never had a problem finding a job. And once you get a job, it's pretty easy to retain that job.
Typical day is working hard all day. It's being on the job site at the right time. If you don't like being physical, it's not the job for you.
So you meet with all your co-workers in the morning and figure out your job scope for the day and what you're going to be doing, and it could be setting up staging one day.
There's no such thing as really a typical day for bricklaying. Every day is always different. But normally you would show up and the tenders would have your staging and brick all set up in your mortar, and you would just show up and start laying up your wall and join up your work and then raise up and just keep going on up to the top.
Personality, you have to be accommodating, you have to be on time, you have to work well with other people. You have to have patience.
The personality you would need is strong work ethic, patience, attention to detail, good sense of humor, time management.
So you'd have to be a go-getter, and you'd have to be persistent and coordinated, and somebody that works well with others.
Choosing this field, I had some friends that worked as laborers, so I went down and worked with them, and liked the physical stuff, liked the heights. I liked jumping from job to job.
When I started, I kind of liked the hard work, and then I noticed I was getting compensated pretty well, and I decided to stick with it, and every block that I did, I got compensated more.
I started as a brick tender, just needed to work. So when I started tending, I quickly fell in love with the trade.
The most satisfaction is at the end of the job. If you're working with people, you have to make sure they're on the same page with you. And at the end of the job, if everybody's happy, including me, that's what I like.
The most satisfaction is when you can drive by a job and seeing its completion. I'm one of those dads who drives around like, hey, I built that.
The most satisfaction is being able to go home at the end of the day and put my feet up and say, I did a hard day's work today, and then I can drive by that building and say, I did that, and I repaired that, and look how nice it looks.
I would encourage people to work in New Brunswick in their field. Most masons at this point are reaching retirement, so there's lots of job opportunities, and everybody kind of knows everybody, and there's always tons of work in New Brunswick. New Brunswick is a good place to work. There's always lots of, if you're into fishing, hunting, hiking, there's lots of outdoor activities you can do with your family and friends.
Working in New Brunswick in my field is very rewarding. You can go home at night and have a nice relaxing night, or you can go out fishing or hunting on the weekends. You can have a nice slow pace of life, or you can have a fast pace of life depending on where you're living. Bricklayers have to support each other. So hopefully more bricklayers could come into the trade.
A lot of masons are retiring. A lot of different companies that I know of. I know about 4 right now that they're retiring. We need people to keep up with the amount of work we have.